Uh, Good morning and afternoon, everyone. I am Afsheen Siddiqui, excited to moderate an insightful webinar on the topic Technology and Advancements in the Cold Chain Logistics. So this webinar is happening prior to our upcoming World Cold Chain Expo 2024 in Dubai in the month of September. So we have a stellar lineup of speakers who will share their expertise and on how technology is reshaping the cold chain industry. So let me introduce you all to our speakers today. We have Gurumurthi Shankar. He is the Chief Operating Officer at Global Shipping and Logistics LLC. We have Lakshmi Mohan. He is the CEO at Thotaka Technologies India Private Limited. We have Nagarajan Govindarajan. He is the Managing Director at Coolguard. We have Laxmikant Kathare. He is the Director in Process. So let's begin. I will quickly come to Shankar first. Shankar, please tell us how are advancements in cold chain logistics technology improving the overall efficiency and sustainability in the supply chain operations?
Hi, thanks, Afsheen. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. When we talk about advancements and technological improvements in cold chain, the first thing we need to look at is that we all know sustainability is a big issue when it comes to logistics. Supply chain, they say, contributes about 60 to 70% of emissions world over. And when you specifically come down to cold chain, it's even more critical. So the whole business around cold chain is talking about cost and sustainability. So we fight it, our customers fight it, it's been ongoing, and we are coming from the 3PL space. So cost and sustainability are extremely critical. So technological improvements and advancements have helped a great deal. I'll take you through. You have technological advancements both on the technology, on the software side, and then you have the hardware, which is basically, it could be a truck, or it could be a sensor, or whatever, or it could be in the infrastructure side. I'll touch upon the infrastructure side, which is where a lot of improvements have happened, and I'll give you some examples as well. So we are operating almost a 200,000 pallet position facility in the UAE with 2 facilities in 2 different locations. What we have seen is that the refrigeration system itself has come a long way. Our first building was built back in about 19 years ago compared to the last phase, which was completed just last week. If you look at the one site versus the other site, we have a difference in energy consumption of about 22 to 24%. So, which is coming simply out of better materials, better refrigeration equipment, and more energy equipment, sensors, and all the other technological things. I can't go too technical. I'm not good technically. So we know these are the things which are giving us efficiencies. Then coming quickly on to once the energy, what is going to be consumed, then the next question is what is the best source of energy? We all know solar has taken off quite well in every part of the world. If you went back even as late as like 7-8 years ago, in an old building, it was very difficult to retrofit solar energy because the panels were too heavy for the existing facilities and it could not take on the existing roof. Whereas if you see now, literally in the last 4 or 5 years, most of the old buildings are getting fitted with solar power as well, which means that the equipment, the panels are getting lighter and they're getting more powerful, more solar energy is being charged. We could get twice the amount of energy that we could have got, let's say 7-8 years ago, at half the weight. And they're saying the way technology is going, it's going to be like a roll out a mat on top and it's going to start generating energy. So that is one major this thing. And then the refrigerant, the coolants that are being used in refrigeration system. Earlier, it used to be Freon and other coolants. Now it is CO2 and ammonia. So ammonia is becoming more prevalent, and that is less impact on the environment. So that is also making a big change, both in terms of cost as well as sustainability. And above all, the packaging materials that are being used in across the supply chain. what we realize is a lot of reusable packaging materials, a lot of materials which can be disposed of without too much damage to the environment, and also they're getting a lot cheaper. So all these things put together has made in general the whole chain a lot better, a lot more sustainable, and a lot more cost efficient. Then we have on the maintenance, you have automated systems and a lot of predictive maintenance happening through AI. So which is allowing us to see what is likely to happen to the equipment in the next 3 days and 3 weeks and 2 weeks. Accordingly, we take actions more on a preventive basis than on a, looking at breakdown maintenance. So this is one on the cost side, and also we could potentially damage the products. So if I have to sum it up, last 10 years have been extremely positive when it comes to advancements from the technological side, both hardware as well as software. I'm not talking much about the software and the blockchain, etc., because it's common to it's common to cold chain as well as other industries in general supply chain. So that's where I end my answer. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Wonderful. I think, yes, with the advancements, not just in technologies, but the materials, and also then switching on to the renewable sources of energy, sustainability is being improved through, better temperature control and reduced carbon footprint across the supply chain.
Right.
So now, next, moving on to Mohan from Totaka Technologies. How do temperature monitoring and control solutions help to prevent the spoilage and ensure the regulatory compliance in the cold chain logistics?
Yeah, thanks, Afsheen. So, I mean, a very pertinent and a valid question, especially considering, we have a lot more tools available today than ever before. So, in industries such as pharma and life sciences, they basically rely on temperature control, both raw material input and also their output is usually temperature control, either medicines, vaccines, or enzymes. I mean, they need to be held in temperature controlled environments and transported in temperature controlled environments. So if you ask, I mean, rather than me being very descriptive, so for example, let me say that we have a very specific use case where every pharmacy ideally has to store significant amount of medication in 2 to 8 degrees Celsius refrigerator. But if you look at the practical scenario, sometime back, none of them were IoT enabled per se. None of them were connected. None of them enabled real-time monitoring or live monitoring. But today we have IoT available, and some of them are IoT enabled. For example, if today you have no way to check if a medicine that you are buying, or in places like India, they are also getting home delivered, are actually in controlled cold chain all along from source till they reach your hand. Today, that's not yet possible, though there are sensors and it's going to happen. And this is actually a regulatory requirement. It's a regulatory requirement that various state regulations and all demand that you need to hold them in the right temperature and before they are sold out. So with IoT, you can bring this visibility to the end customer. For example, if I were buying it, I could technically get this visibility. I could get a temperature report along with every medication that I buy, because some of these are extremely expensive. I mean, cost multiple hundreds of dollars, nothing lesser than that. And I can be confident, instead of just trusting with data in my hand, that I'm getting what I actually need. That is temperature controlled, environmentally controlled medication that has been delivered to me till the last mile. So regulation exists to protect the customer, and IoT enables regulation. So temperature monitoring is enabled by IoT. So this chain is complete with when we have IoT enabled temperature monitoring. We can see that for a very significant use case, we can cover the whole chain. So that basically prevents spoilage and, of course, ensures regulatory compliance.
Absolutely. So the same question I would like to ask with Nagarajan. What do you think on the same? How do this temperature monitoring and control solutions help to prevent the spoilage?
Money is being saved based on the industry, that particular companies, 8 to 10% of money is saved, which normally goes into the spoilage. So IoT solutions using interconnected sensors, not only the temperature, humidity, and door open and close status of the warehouses. All the data are collated and monitored centrally by the team. Each and every data, every minute data, they will be able to monitor, and then corrective actions will be taken immediately in real time, and spoilage can be stopped.
True. I absolutely agree with both of you, Mohan and Nagarajan. So the temperature monitoring and control solution serve as a key tool in preventing the spoilage, and which is essential. They can maintain the ideal storage conditions for products. Like, for example, in the pharma industry, it is very critical to maintain the proper temperature, required standard temperature for the medicines, vaccines, and even in the food industry. So, and throughout the complete chain, like you said, from the beginning to when it reaches the end user. And now I will quickly come to my next question to Laxmikant. How are software solutions being utilized to enhance the visibility, traceability, and compliance in the cold chain logistics operation? So it is just an extension to our previous question.
Yeah. Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, before we actually move on to a technology part of the cold warehousing solutions, we really need to identify whenever we are being trying to deploy any kind of technology solutions, maybe it's a software or maybe it is hardware. We really need to understand that what is the objective of this deployment of this technology. Are we in a position to really need these kind of solutions into the specific kind of scenario where we are being working? And once we identify that, then we can really identify which kind of technologies will be useful, maybe in terms of a hardware or in terms of a software. And when we look in terms of a software, again, we really try to find it out what is our business objective. When we are being trying to work it out in the areas of say inventory management, our basic goal is to have an faster deliveries to the end customers, have a improvement in productivity and in terms and reduction in the cost. The third point, as we were being discussing about, and again, temperature monitoring and having a control onto the overall atmosphere or the environmental parameters into the warehouse. We need to really also try to find it out what is the perishable life of those products and what are the parameters which are being required to do that, and how they are being affecting our profitability of the organization in terms of spoilages or scrappages happening because of the expiring products into the warehouses. Same way, again, the quality which we are going to deliver to the end customer, is it going to be really relevant when you have received the material into the cold warehouse and when you are being delivering? It is relevant to the customer's expectations and requirements. And the foremost important is upon cash flow. Are we able to really generate the revenue from the operations which we are being trying to do that? So once we try to define those things and then try to identify the right kind of a solution, which will help me to monitor my inventory. So as you rightly asked the question specifically about and why software will be useful over here, because yeah, we can keep it manually. We can keep it really in terms of Excel sheets on the paper. A lot of things can be managed to manage the inventory, but then it is being under the control of certain individuals. We are not able to really find it out when someone is missing into the warehouse and we really try to find it out the material over there. We are not able to find it out. So in that case, probably software is going to help. Anyone who is being sitting at any offices across the globe can really monitor what is being there into my warehouse. What is the warehouse utilization? Which materials are being utilizing much of the capacities over there? Who are the customers or who are the suppliers who are being utilizing my most of the spaces? How is my expiring products are being storing into the systems? And the most important part which normally cold warehouses are being facing is about an wastages on account of not tracing the expiring products. So they try to keep a lot of technology in terms of temperature monitoring, humidity monitoring, IoT solutions, then robotics. Yes, but ultimately, if the product is having a certain kind of a shelf life, are we able to monitor those shelf life and take a prior decisions according to that? So probably when software is being deployed into a cold warehousing kind of an companies over there, it should really give the real sense of a visibility of the stocks which is being happening into the warehouse. And at the same time, it should give us the sense of what is the losses which we may incur in terms of expiring products when we are not going to take the actions on products which are being expiring in next 1 month or next 15 days or next 8 days. So the salespeople can then plan for specific kind of strategies in terms of sales activities, like an putting a discounting or one offering of the sales products over there. So that will really help to companies or warehouses to really manage their business objectives of an on-time delivery, reduction into the cost, reduction into the wastages into the companies, improving the cash flows. So I guess software solutions right now which are being available into the market specifically are being helping the cold warehousing industries to really look into the ourselves as a mirror and try to find it out where we are in terms of our operations and where we need to improve onto that. Softwares are not going to improve on themselves, but yeah, the team will be getting an inputs over there and they will say that, yeah, we will be able to improve based on to the indicators which are being given it over there. I guess this gives a overall scope of an software into the cold warehousing industries. Yeah, thank you.
Certainly, certainly. So I think, yes, software solutions, like you said, are very instrumental in taking informed decisions and maintaining the high quality of compliance that way. Moving back again to Nagarajan, what are your views on this to enhance the visibility, traceability, and compliance in the cold chain logistics operations? What role do the software solutions play?
See, software solutions provide unprecedented visibility actually, right from the point of production to the point of consumption actually. The softwares can provide visibility to throughout the supply chain using IoT devices, which is integrated with GPS devices. We can monitor the location and the environment conditions. The environment conditions such as temperature, humidity, and even CO2 sensors, ammonia sensors. All these sensors can be integrated, and all the data can be stored on the cloud platform using a software, so which can give a visibility to the company people who are managing the entire supply chain, and also for certain companies which store materials of the customers, they can give a proof of storage actually using the software solutions. And some of the customers give proof of the storage conditions along with the bill actually. This is the temperature. Suppose, for example, a pharma company is storing in a particular cold storage. The cold storage people will give the proof of concept from the software solution. They can take a particular report and attach with the bill and give it. So that way, it gives more of credibility to the people who are storing the material. And software solutions, not only that, software solutions can give dashboards, intuitive dashboard interfaces it can provide actually, which can give a centralized view of all the things, all the operations. All the stakeholders can access the up-to-date real-time information about the products, and they can even detect any issues before they escalate, and then they can take any informed decisions quickly. And with data analytics actually, which is embedded into the software solutions, they can dissect the data, and then they can find out the efficiency of the particular storage facility, or even to the level of freezers and coolers actually. What is the performance in terms of the maintaining the temperature? Everything is visible to them on the software solutions. So software solutions are very crucial. And the last point is that they provide data for compliance to the authorities actually. The authorities who wanted to have proof that these materials are being stored at the proper temperature, right from the factory to the retail shop. So companies can provide the proof using the software solutions, where they can show all the temperature that is being maintained right from the factory to the end users actually, which is very much useful for the companies. Otherwise, manual methods will be very cumbersome and then the data will be manipulated. All these things will be avoided using a software solution, and all this data is available real time, and then they can have an history of 3 months, 6 months, 1 year data they can be stored easily.
Very well said. Thank you. Next, as we are discussing technologies, let's move to a challenges part of it as well. So, coming back to you, Shankar, what challenges do companies face when implementing these advanced cold chain technologies, and how can they be overcome?
Thanks, Afsheen. It's a big question. Implementation of technology also involves multiple stakeholders, multiple parties. I think that's where I would like to start with. Anything that we implement, we cannot be looking at it inwardly. We should be looking at the whole 9 yards. So what we have seen as failures in many cases are mainly with, you think it's your warehouse, you're taking care of it well, you're taking care of your truck, but it gets out on the street. There are a lot of things that happen. It crosses borders, it crosses different places, and it goes to another destination where conditions could be different. So some of the major challenges are basically we don't tend to take into account different standards and methods adopted across the chain. I think that's one biggest problem we always see, that we presume that the conditions in which we operate are the same as in other places. We need to understand the whole thing. And also when we just tend to call all these products are cold chain products, but it's not one size fits all. There are different products within the cold chain, that need different solutions. Even in frozen, in chilled, within chilled, there are different products where technologies will not take care of the different requirements that we have. You have a 9-day shelf life cheese versus egg, which could be a 3-month shelf life. There are a lot of other characteristics to the products which also need to be taken into account while implementing both the physical system as well as technology in terms of software or to monitor or whatever. Poor infrastructure or cold chain. This has been the biggest challenge in terms of while implementing. You could put in the best sensors, but if the infrastructure is not of good quality, there could be condensation. For example, what we have found is that technology that works, like automated equipment that work in a normal temperature control warehouse, let's say 20 degrees or 18 degrees, when you put them into a frozen environment, it completely breaks down. The battery goes for a toss. So we try to use drone inside a frozen. The battery goes away in 14 minutes, 15 minutes. Now it's gone up to probably 20 minutes. We're trying to use AGVs in frozen environment. It doesn't work because the technology has not adapted to the frozen environment. So the technology has to also suit different temperatures and different conditions. I think that is what sometimes is not taken care of, and due to which there are failures. We have similar situations with in -18, -20. We have something called automatic shuttlers, which goes into 24 deep and brings it out. The breakdowns are very high. They work very well in other temperature zones, but in frozen it breaks down. Then regulatory compliance across borders. So what we don't take into account is that when you cross from one country to another, the border, the customs requirements may have some very harsh requirements for the products to go through. In certain places, you got to open the truck and they take out products in hot sun. And we live in the Middle East, temperatures could go up to 50, 55 degrees. Suddenly, when you open it for 20 minutes and 25 minutes and you shut it, your whole, whatever technology you put in, it may not work. I mean, there's condensation, there's a lot of other things to be taken care of. So we have seen a lot of breakdowns there as well. And seasonal fluctuations, they're extreme. What happens in Europe, what happens in the US may not work in India or the Middle East. So the seasonal fluctuations need to be taken into account. I mean, part of the year it will work in Dubai, may not work in summer, in August or July. So these are some of the things where we have seen a lot of challenges in implementing both a complete cold chain system as well as technology. Both are interlinked. In terms of how do we overcome, I think we need to understand the standards and situations in every stage of the supply chain. We got to just put a milestone at every point of where it could be stopped or offloaded or partially opened or checked All those things need to be taken into account in the first place. Second is establishing a robust and real-time visibility, totally integrated with the system, with emergency alerts. What we see is that all of our companies, we have different systems getting connected. So what typically happens is that there are a lot of islands of information we create, islands of systems we create. They are not totally connected. So our challenge also today is that some of the things which Nagarajan and Mohan talked about in terms of connecting your trucks, understanding your temperature as it goes through, we have different information coming from the market on different portals. So we are right now, what we are doing is we are trying to integrate them with one login. We have multiple things being seen. I want to see my location. I want to see how many orders are being delivered. I want to see the temperature control. It is at -24. And then is the door open? Is it the truck is being stopped? So all these things will have to be brought under one roof. If you have them in multiple portals or multiple locations, people are not going to see it, and it's going to become cumbersome. So that is one solution which we should have it integrated. And then more importantly, the infrastructure and the whole logistics assets need to be well maintained. Preventive maintenance is the key thing, which is where we see a lot of these things, be it a truck and something fitted inside a truck, or a warehouse where we have fitted something to monitor. They go for a toss if it is not properly maintained. And then keep evaluating the latest technological advancements, because every 2 to 3 years, there's something new coming up in the market. And a new technology doesn't mean that it suits you. We've got to go and pick the most suitable technology for our business. And that's the best way to ensure that, one, it is properly implemented, it doesn't break down, and 3, it pays back the money that we pay for technology. And finally, understanding the sensitive nature of the product and building a custom-built solution. I think that's extremely important. What is applicable to A may not be applicable to B. So we need to understand the product, the environment we are in, different stages of the supply chain, and take a holistic view. Then technology, infrastructure, transportation, everything will work seamlessly.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. Customization and timely maintenance is very much required in this particular industry. Moving forward to Mohan, in what ways are cloud-based technologies transforming the management and tracking of goods in the cold chain industry?
Great. So basically, we are at Firm Compute, we are a supply chain operational intelligence platform. So some of my perspective will go beyond sensors as I answer your question. So cloud-based technologies have enabled what we can call as pay-per-use model for infrastructure. I mean, this has triggered a revolution in software as service, platform as service, and practically anything as service. So by exposing services as application programming interfaces, APIs that people keep calling, and the expensive infrastructure is now affordable even for small and medium business. I mean, it's become very affordable. The whole thing is affordable. Coming to goods tracking and cold chain, cloud-based technologies have enabled machine learning on data using expensive GPUs that we hear, Meta, Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, everybody using it. They are from NVIDIA. They're extremely expensive. I mean, that single company cannot afford it. But with cloud-based technology, with APIs endpoints, you could buy the amount of GPU that you need to analyze your data. So that's become now very affordable. So now, if you look at a practical use case, so to give a very practical use case, we are working with a partner wherein we have integrated analytics with that actually draws from multiple sources. I mean, there are like Mr. Shankar said, there are like multiple portals, and also it draws from multiple sources via API. And there's an AI chat that's integrated right into your enterprise chat system. Maybe you're using Microsoft Teams or Google Workspace or Zoho or Slack. So it's right integrated into that. So you don't even log into another portal. That no need to log in, no need to single sign on anymore, no need to remember credentials anymore. And this system then starts to do a couple of few unique things. One thing is it integrates with your SCM and understand what sensors are tracking what types of assets. For example, there could be certain set of sensors that are tracking pharma assets. Another set of sensors tracking, fresh fruit, vegetable. A third set of sensors that are tracking possibly ice cream. And second, when it comes to alerts, imagine you have got something like 70,000 temperature controlled assets that you are tracking. Even in 1% of alerts for your supply chain team to handle is a very difficult thing. I mean, you'll end up missing stuff. So the system automatically prioritizes. It knows, for example, pharma assets possibly need instant attention, whereas you can wait for 30 minutes to handle your ice cream assets. It prioritizes right from your chat box. I mean, you don't have to go anywhere. It comes up on your chat saying that, this is the asset, this is stored at this location, this is the manager, store manager whom you have to contact, reach him out now. And then slowly it shows up the other alerts. Third thing is that you can ask for analytics right from your chat. So basically, previously you would have to download reports or get daily reports, take them into spreadsheets, summarize it, give some instant report data and see what things went wrong, but no more. So with this system, you get daily summaries and more importantly, outliers across your system. For example, this looks odd. This is not behaving well. I mean, something is wrong. Can you look there? These sort of a thing, and you can actually ask for analytics right from your thing. So all these, whatever I have spoken and which we are actually piloting with one of our partners, this would not happen without cloud-based technologies. And I believe with the recent AI and all, like whatever I'm talking, this is just happening and it's going to revolutionize cold chain. I mean, not just cold chain, in fact, the complete supply chain management. Yeah, that's a huge revolutionary thing that's happening there.
Absolutely. Yes, technology is certainly making things much user-friendly and easier for the complete supply chain. So again, like all you were explaining, tracking of goods in the cold chain logistics is quite critical. And Laxmikant, we would like to know your views on the ways in which these technologies, cloud-based technologies, are transforming the management and goods tracking.
Yeah, thank you. I guess Mr. Mohan has really given the insight about the cloud-based use cases which has been practically being used into the industry right now. But I just wanted to start with some foundation onto that. When initially being cold warehouses was being managed and some of the companies were digitized, most of the companies were not digitized. What is the limitation when there was no cloud, and why we are being talking about the cloud right now? That's very important and to talk about. Most of the companies were being working as a standalone cold warehousing unit. They've been trying to improve the effectiveness, utilizations, productivity of the resources which are being working within the warehouse. But many of the factors which were being there were not dependent or were not in their hands. It was being dependent on either the supplier or it is being dependent on the customers. So a lot of parameters were there. So when we try to look towards the cloud technology, we need to really look from the entire supply chain management as a whole. When we talk about digitizing the supply chain, there is a biggest challenge. How we are going to collaborate with the different stakeholders which are being involved into the supply chain. If my supplier is being sending some cold storage related goods to my cold storage, and I need to store it for a temporary period and then sell it to my customers, I need to really try to find it out the ways by which I could integrate with this suppliers database, which they are being trying to dispatch from their end. There may be some kind of an information as well as a material gap which is being involved into that. So the challenge which we are being faced when we started a normal warehousing solution into the industries, the problem was that nobody was being ready to collaborate the data. The reason, there were a lot of technological constraints which are being there, securities and other aspects over there. But now with the advent of the cloud technology, what is happening? We can have a microservice based architecture into the software development. We can share only that kind of data which is being required for that particular supplier. The supplier need not have to look towards the rest of the data which is being lying into my warehouse, my databases over there. I need not have to worry. What if he looks to my rest of the suppliers or rest of the customers, what is going to happen? Now that kind of a risk is not there. We can very easily integrate this kind of an integration with my multiple suppliers, not a single supplier, multiple suppliers. I can integrate my outbound dispatches with my courier company or a transportation company. I can give them the data which I am being trying to deliver to my customers. So that has happened. A very big change has happened because of the cloud technology. We are being moved from an individual standalone software, though we were being using a web-based application software, to a really supply chain management kind of a software solution. That is one thing which has been happening because of the cloud. The second thing which cloud is being enabling is the biggest problem which we face when we interact with the cloud warehousing. Again, as a business objective, we need to understand, why should I invest this much amount of money into infrastructure? Why normal scanners, normal wire scanners are not useful? Why should I invest into a handheld devices with Wi-Fi and all those things? These are the questions which are being asked by the investors when we try to implement the software into any organizations over there. Typically, what now the cloud has helped us is that we can deploy various kind of an innovative solutions, like say scanning purpose. We were being previously, when 10 years or 15 years before, when we have to deploy a software, we have to get an HP or a symbol hardware. Then we try to identify the cost of an infrastructure just for the scanning purpose. It was being going beyond the budgets of the cold warehouses. So now with the cloud technology, what has happened? Like, and we have experienced the UPI. Any person who is onto the roadside also is being using the UPI's technology to really give the payment and receive the payments over there. The same technology we are being able to utilize into the warehouses. Now with any person who is being carrying out the mobile can open his mobile and scan the barcode or QR code which is being put into the inventory or to the locations and get the entire history about that product. How much is the temperature, how much is the quantity, when that material is being received, what is the lot number. So everything, visibility could have been possible. And previously, to get that information, I need to have a IP grade, very highly costly handheld device. Now that has been abolished. Now we can very safely go to the investors and say that you have to invest a minimum amount of money to get and transfer into the software. The cloud has enabled to really help into operational part of the management of the cold warehousing activities, which is very key. Unless and until the optional people will not be able to use the very simple kind of a software, which they need not have to be literate, they need not to be trained, like I'm doing an SAP course of 65,000 rupees and then move on to another company to get a job. That's not now really needed. A person who is being really working onto the shop floor, he is being transferring the material from one location to another location. He can pick up the mobile, scan the barcode, and do the transactions which are being required into the software. It will get updated immediately onto the cloud. That is what is the benefit which cloud has been given. And third part is, as Mr. Mohan has elaborated onto that elaborately, it is about an business intelligence. Now, when we were being talking 15-20 years back about an improvement into the warehousing operations, cold warehousing operation, we were being talking about an visibility, visual warehouse. How can we build up the visual warehouse where people will be able to enable through their senses what is there into the warehouse? So we were used to prepare a lot of whiteboard, and there we will be putting which inventory is being lying into which bins and which locations, everything. So that is the way lean was being getting implemented into various organizations. But now with the cloud, I can really process a vast amount of information, irrespective of the stock. We can have a dashboard onto the touchscreen based monitors into the warehouses, where at the time of an entry at the various locations, various bays into the warehouses, we can display monitors over there, which will be touch enabled. And one can really see which warehouse utilization, which bins utilization is what is at what level, what are the materials which are being stored, what are the fast moving materials, what are the non-moving materials. So it is being enabling the supervisors also to take the decisions, which was being earlier being done by the top managers into the organization. They will be driving all kind of and stock transfer transactions into the organization whenever they have time. So that has enabled to take a decision making from the top management to a supervisory level. And for the top management, it is really helpful for them now when all the data is being in front of them. It is a task of a cloud-based application to provide them the instant reports in the form of dashboard. How is the utilization? What are being expiring products? What is being happening? What is the efficiency of the? What are the effectiveness of the checkers, pickers who are being moving into the operations? What is the maintenance schedule which is being followed into the warehouse or not? So all those kind of a dashboard based on like that, what we could say non-compliance which is happening into the warehouse. The key decision makers needs to understand that what is the non-compliance happening into the company. They need not have to understand that what is happening into the warehouse. They wanted to understand that where I need to keep the focus and see that the things are getting happen. So the business analytics is being giving a real kind of an dashboards, real kind of an reports, real kind of an alerts. With a cloud-based technologies, I can connect now with a WhatsApp. I can connect with the software. WhatsApp chatbot can be implemented now. He can just put a chat into the chatbot message over there. What is the stock levels? What are the dispatches happened today? What are the inbound things which are being happened? So now everything is being come down to a chatbot. So warehouse managers or the stakeholders which are being involved into the management, like and customers also, they need not have to pick up the phone, call to the my warehouse supervisor. Then he will say, "Sir, I will come back to you after half an hour." Then he will open the email, send the email. Nothing is required. The customer or the supplier have to just log in, not log in. He has to go onto the WhatsApp. He has to put a query like in chat GPT. He will be able to access the stock levels. He will be able to access today's GRNs. He will be able to access what are today's deliveries. And this is practically happening right now. Within a time of, say, 1 year, this technology of an chat GPT is being really absorbed into the industry because it is very easy to use. Anybody who can use a chat WhatsApp can use now the software. He need not have to be trained to that, do that. So what I could sum up into that is that it is really moving the very highly complex technical management of the warehousing operation to a very simple, intuitive kind of an management by the people onto the shop floor. So I guess apart from that, I will say we are being able to integrate with the SAPs or any of the third-party applications. We are able to integrate with the IoTs. We are able to get an huge amount of data at every microseconds from the IoT devices, and then utilize the business intelligence which is being available at a softer level. So yeah, it has really revolutionized. The cloud technology has revolutionized the way we were being managing the cold warehouses. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Laxmikant. Nagarajan, in continuation to this, please tell us how is IoT revolutionizing monitoring and data collection in the cold chain logistics, and what benefits does this bring to the businesses?
Yeah, I'll be basing my points based on the monitoring of a cold chain industry actually. So the foremost thing is that it has revolutionized the way in which the data, the monitoring is being done actually. Previously, for monitoring a cold warehouse or a cold room, a human being has to go there periodically, monitor the data, monitor the temperature, and then you'll have to record it in a piece of paper or in an Excel sheet, and then you'll have to send a mail to to the head office actually. Who the person who has to take a decision will receive the data maybe a couple of hours later actually. By the time the cold chain condition must have changed. So using IoT, so you can transform the whole thing actually. The data will directly come in real time to the decision maker who can take instant decisions actually. So real time data is collected and then instant decisions are being taken so that you can avoid any further spoilage or any further damage to the goods that is being stored actually. That is the foremost thing. Second thing is that since you are monitoring continuously actually, so it is not that periodically somebody goes and monitors that. Continuously through the sensors, the data is being the facility is being monitored continuously, and all the data goes to the cloud storage, and then people can anywhere they can be there anywhere and they can access the data. So all this is being possible because of the IoT technologies, that is the IoT devices, your temperature sensor, your humidity sensors, and all kind of sensors actually. This is the foremost thing. And the other thing is that the manual errors which is happening when we monitor the data, monitor the cold storages using a manual human being, that is being avoided here actually. Since it is all automated, you don't have to worry. You don't have to see that somebody goes there or not. He is noting down or whether he is noting down properly or not. whether it's sending immediately or it is getting delayed. In some cases, we get to know that today's temperature, they will collate and send it tomorrow. They will, the concerned people will receive it tomorrow morning. By the time the whole scenario would have changed, the damage must have been done actually. So using IoT devices, you get the data immediately without any interruption. Nobody is there in between actually. Automatically you get the data and then the decision will be taken immediately. So, and third thing is that regarding the compliance, which is very important actually, the authorities need data from the companies actually, how these goods are being properly maintained at the proper temperature. For that, keeping a record is a big headache for this company actually. So using these IoT solutions, that record is being generated automatically and can be stored and can be shared immediately with the concerned people in real time. Actually, you can shoot out a mail, or you can share it in the WhatsApp. You can download it and send an email. All these things are possible from the data that is being generated by the IoT devices. So this way, the way in which the monitoring is being happening has been transformed by the IoT devices.
Interesting. Mohan, would you like to add something to this?
Yes, I mean, I think very rightly said already, but I mean, we have been developing sensors for almost 2 decades now. So I'll add sort of a, insight going back and forth. So sensors are always there, right? Like Mr. Nagarajan rightly pointed out, previously it was analog sensors with manual readouts. Then you had digital but wired sensors. Now, when we say IoT, Internet of Things is about connecting stuff. Like things are now connected, and now you have digital and wireless sensors. And like Mr. Shankar already pointed, there were challenges when IoT sensors were deployed in the cold chain, especially lithium batteries that power almost every electronic device out there do not work well in negative temperatures. But monitoring -20, -40, -35 is practically a need in the cold chain. So these were now overcome. For example, we have currently sensors, at least we have sensors that work until -45 degrees centigrade, reliably relying data wirelessly. So IoT also has evolved enough to an extent. I wouldn't say it's completely done solved to handle the requirements of cold chain. Second thing, of course, there is, when you say how is it revolutionizing? I mean, one primary benefit that we all see it's ready is that you can monitor from anywhere. I mean, you don't have to be at the place. There are no scope for manual errors. There is no manual intervention. There are standards that tell how a sensor has to be calibrated. There are standards to, as the whole thing is established. The next benefit, which my other speakers also have articulated, but which I'll put it in a single word, is sensor fusion. When with IoT, you are able to fuse data from multiple sensors. So, for example, you have got a vehicle transporting, a controlled temperature product, and it's cross-border. So you have data from the temperature and humidity sensors that's in the backside of the truck. Then you have location data from the vehicle tracking system. And then possibly you have additional sensors like what we have, shock sensors and all, that see whether it is being transported in the right way, and there are dash cams and everything. So you fuse this data and you can say that when you ask a question as to where was my consignment and when it was -18 degrees Celsius, you can say that, okay, it was at this location and then something happened. The truck was stopped and then he had to wait. He ran out of fuel or there was an accident. So that's the next thing. It comes to instant reporting. So basically, when you have like live data analysis, so you have a data point coming in, you fuse it with multiple sensors, then you look at it as to what is this data point telling me about my system. So these analytics can generate instant alerts. Like rightly pointed out, you'll get it on WhatsApp, you'll get it on SMS, you'll possibly get a phone call saying that, something really happening there needs your attention, wake up, look at it. So IoT has enabled all these things, of course, with cloud and other things enabled, put together. This is now happening. This is a reality. So yeah, it has revolutionized a lot in all these regards.
Right. Thank you, Mohan. So now it's time for some case studies. So moving back again to Shankar, could you share any success stories where innovative cold chain technologies have significantly improved the operational efficiency and cost effectiveness?
Thanks. in our industry, for our survival, we've got to keep on doing something new to keep the cost under control, and also bring in something new to keep the customers also in line with the technological advancements. So there are a lot of things we do in terms of energy conservation and improving the way we operate. But those I categorize as commodities. Like we have got 2 large solar installations of 6.5 mega and 2.3 mega, which is quite big. But these are all commodities available in the market. But we have designed and done a few things, which I would just like to highlight 2 of the things. One is basically a packing operation. So we're the largest chicken distribution operation in the UAE. When we're talking some serious 60-70% of the volume. So we do a lot of packing of 2 packs chicken into go into 1. And this has got to be done in a controlled environment. You can't take it into normal temperature control area. So it has got to be kept in like low positive temperatures and then do it. So this was being operated, done by about 18, 16, 20 people at any given point of time. And it had its own challenges in terms of hygiene, the time it takes to pack and put a carton back into frozen. So we indigenously designed a robotic automation for the whole thing. Now we're operating with 4 people. And it does it a lot quicker and with a lot less manpower. And it is not a machine that can be bought off the shelf. That's the most important thing. So it's a customized machine, which we have developed as non-technical people. So which we proudly show as a big achievement. But more importantly, we've got onto the trucking side. I think we are the first ones to try out solar paneled trucks. So we have used solar panels on top of the trucks and started to use them for frozen trucks.
Marcus, can you please mute yourself?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So we have about a year and a half ago, we tried out on a couple of trucks, solar panels on top of the truck for frozen. But when we used it, what we realized was it was good to hold temperature from point A to point B. But if you stop somewhere on the way and open the door and shut it again, normally in 10 minutes, you lose about 8-9 degrees of temperature. When you shut it again, a typical engine would take about 15 minutes to put it back at minus 18, minus 19. But this one was not able to do it. So we tried to fine tune it. And then we have now hit a sweet spot where it runs efficiently for temperature controlled trucks, which is like 16 degrees, and also going up to chilled trucks. Going up to 0 to 4 degree, 3 degree temperature. So we have successfully used it for now 1.5 years. It is not yet in commercial operation. We are just doing it within our company. It may be made commercial soon. What we have realized is that it gives us about 20% fuel efficiency. Don't forget, much of the fuel is lost when the truck is waiting to deliver at a supermarket than even running the truck on the streets. So you switch off the engine is still on to keep your box cool. So this mostly is taken care of by the roof. So I think we'll be able to get even further onto this. We will be rolling out more trucks soon in the market, at least for our own consumption. Maybe somebody will pick it up and then commercialize it and start selling it. I think we can proudly say that we tried it the first in the UAE.
That is some wonderful innovations within the company, and I hope others can also take examples from this and would benefit the complete industry of cold chain globally. Lastly, Laxmikant, do you want to share your experiences with us where the innovative cold chain technologies have improved the operational efficiency?
Sure, thanks, Afsheen. I would like to share my screen. I will try to do that. If it is, will you please enable my screen sharing?
I think it would be rather better if you can just explain it.
Yeah, sure. Basically, we are working as a software solution provider as well as a consulting company for improving the overall effectiveness of the warehousing operations. We have deployed multiple solutions on cold warehouses in India, as well as in the Middle East, as well as the Southeast Asia. So those solutions are being used specifically for managing the food supply chain. So where temperature controlling as well as monitoring the expiring date is a very important parameter to really go through. So when we deployed these solutions with these multiple customers, they started with a single warehouse initially. And based on to the success at a one warehouse, they have replicated the solutions at a multiple warehouse. So that is very key, important learnings that instead of going for the entire organization wide implementation, because one solution is not always being fitted for any multiple companies together. There are different kind of business scenarios happening in a multiple companies with multiple customers and suppliers, and they need to be accommodated to get a really success of the technology deployment. So the major problem which is being faced by the client was the suppliers and the customers for various warehouses were being different. The reason again is a cold warehouse. One of the cold warehouse was being dealing into non-veg food products, supplying to the various supermarkets as well as five-star chains and all the things. And they could not really mix up the vegetarian products, food products, or the packaged food products along with the non-veg products. So the treatment which is being required to be given to both the things were being different. If there are vegetables and other than the non-vegetarian products, they were being required to sort the processes at initially level at the time of receiving, and then accordingly take decisions about and storage into a different kind of temperature zones. So what we did is that we give the customized solutions to these customers, to these clients, and they have deployed it. The another challenge which they were being using is when they were being not using the any kind of traceability system into the software. So the challenges again were being how the stickers will be put onto the food products, what barcode stickers or QR code stickers, what kind of tagging is required to be done. So those are the multiple challenges when we try to propose them a basic solution which has an incapability to print the barcodes and scan the barcode. So we have to really find it out on various kind of solutions which can retain their properties of the scanning as well as the paper abilities to work under the moisture as well as very low temperatures over there. So it's not like say one day we have deployed the solution, it has been happened. So we have to really find it out various kind of alternative solutions, whether that fits into that particular industry or not, because every product has a different temperature zones. It is not solution applicable to all. So that is being really required to be done. So we have did it, that is being successfully done. And the very important part which is being done at the latter part is the pick list based on the first expiry first product. This customer who is being using, they are being managing the chocolate chain. This is a third party logistics service provider in Kuwait. They are being managing multiple warehouses for a MNC chocolate company. So for their entire history, they were having a problem that every year in the balance sheet they were having a huge amount of being debited on account of expired products. So the challenge was in front of them, how to do that. So they could really supply the products in a cold environment, monitored and controlled environment over there. But what about the perishable life of that product? So we help them to have a picking based on first expiry, first out. That has really helped the client to really make a strategic decision making about that all expiring products which are earlier expiring products will be sold at an earlier stage, not they will be waiting for a dispatches over there. And when they have put a various kind of management techniques as well as a salespeople's team involvement and all these things, it's not, I will not say it's just not a software's role, but when software has given them the visibility of this kind of expiring dashboard over there, which products are being expiring, when they are expiring, they have really they are being really in a position to take the informed decisions and reduce the stock. Now we are being very proud. The customer has given the satisfaction information that later to us that they are almost now there is nil kind of scrappages on account of expiring products. Apart from that, because of the implementation of the scanning methodology or scanning technology over there over the cloud, now they have 99.997% inventory accuracy. So which is amazing for the client. They could not have realized that in the past few years. So that is really feasible because of the software being used as a tool by the decision makers or the operating guys into that organization. And now the client is happy. He is being expanding into multiple warehouses, and he is more confident to take challenges from the clients, because now he is very much sure if he gets more orders, more people in the organization, he has a certain kind of tools which will enable him to manage the increased business. So they are now confident that they can increase the revenue of their organization. So ultimately, the technology has enabled them to grow their organization, improve the satisfaction of their stakeholders who are being involved into the operational process. I guess that is that is a kind of a case study which is being available. This is being a real kind of a case which is being deployed into the Kuwait. Thank you.
That was enlightening. Thank you very much. So now, as we conclude this engaging webinar, I want to express my appreciation to all our esteemed speakers for sharing their valuable insights and expertise on the advancements in the cold chain logistics and technologies, sharing some case studies with us. And I hope the audience found today's discussions knowledgeable and enlightening as well, as we look forward further to more discussions and exploring these innovations at the World Cold Chain Expo in Dubai in the month of September. So thank you all of you for joining us today. Stay tuned for some more exciting developments in the cold chain industry and follow our LinkedIn page and have a wonderful day, all of you. Thank you very much.